Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me and also see me. And apparently, you can hear the dog. My sister got a new dog. Her name is Luna, and I'll see if I can figure out a way to bring her here. Let's see. I had a lot of fun at debunking this libertarian yesterday. So, quick recap. He made a video about how I was wrong about the Sandinista literacy program. And I made a sly remark about, good morning, Indy Left News. I made you a mod on Twitch for trolls. We are very authoritarian in this podcast. We don't support anyone's free speech or right to opinions. So anything that irritates me personally or you personally gets banned because we don't believe in free speech and we support authoritarianism. Yeah, exactly. Personally irritating me definitely gets you banned from the chat. So now it was so much fun that, well, so yesterday he made we accidentally ran into a video where he was arguing for privatized fire departments, and now I see he has a whole bunch. Oh, thank you so much. Well, yes, listen to us via earbuds and then share it with your friends, families, enemies, on your WhatsApp family chats, with your weird aunt over Thanksgiving, etc., etc. Yeah. Good morning, Green Potful. So right now 2 of the 3 of my nieces are in school. So I later tonight I'm going back home, but 2 out of 3 of my nieces are in school and 1 is asleep. So this is the best time to broadcast. And please hit like, subscribe, and also go to historically.substack.com/subscribe and become a paid subscriber, because we rely only on you. Please become a super chat member, and I'm gonna figure out how to do the YouTube memberships. If you guys, there's nothing wrong with the dog. She's just she's just a few weeks old. She's very new, so she's just gets anxious easily. So nothing wrong with her. I'll see if I can bring her. Her name is Luna. So good afternoon, Lucas Borja Pianado. Are you in Europe? So yesterday we made a video. He actually advocated for privatized fire departments, which is one of the most idiotic ideas I've ever heard of. So then I saw that he has a whole bunch of separation anxiety. Amsterdam. How do I do that? Maybe Lumpia Logic is a mod, so maybe she can figure it out. So I'm sorry, we just have to kind of deal with the puppy noise. So now, let's do this again. So yesterday, the libertarian got me suspended from YouTube for a week. Okay, hold on, I'll bring him. Her. So this is my sister's new dog, Luna. Yeah, her name is Luna, and I guess say hi to everyone, Luna. She is a poodle mixed with Saint Bernard. I don't know, poodle mixed with something. And she's just a few weeks old. She's adorable. She's happy now because she's wagging her tail. And yeah, she's just kind of not used to, I guess, being separated. So let me see. I think she's calm now. So I will see if I can put her back. Just stay put for 1 second. Okay. Yeah, it was just separation anxiety. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, so hold on. Okay. I don't know what to do with Luna. I guess I mean okay. If she cries, I don't know what to do. I mean, I know she has separation anxiety because she's still young. But she's okay with anyone around. But I guess my sister's upstairs and her husband's in it. My sister's upstairs in a meeting, and it looks like her husband is somewhere. Whew. What am I supposed to do? Well, I mean, okay. Okay. What am I supposed to do? Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get somebody to just come for a second. Oh, weird. Okay. So let's okay, she's yelping. Let me see if I can. I don't know really what to do because okay. I really don't know what to do now. Okay, so let's stuff. I turned on the lights. So we have some LED lights now. But the weird part is I don't know why it makes my hand look. It makes me look good, but it makes my hand look weird. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. So yesterday he started to he actually, yeah, like I said, he got me suspended because I made for a week, which I thought was kind of dirty. And I'm not the only one he does this to. He does this to Eddie from Midwestern Marxists. Let me see if I tweet at him or TikTok at him or whatever and tell him to come. I sent him another invite for my impromptu stream. So we can talk about this guy. He mass reported, got Eddie mass reported and kicked out. So now we communists are going to fight back, and we're going to show the libertarian nerds what happens to libertarian nerds who take on communists. And so, yeah, like I said, my thing, I wasn't even that mean to him. I said something like, sounds like you can use the benefit of Nicaragua's literacy program because your citation disagrees with you. He cited something about how it was private. It was something really stupid. Private churches, and little does he know about Nicaragua. And I nearly need I need to do an episode on Nicaragua. I'm trying to find long story, but there's a scheduling issue, but there will be a good episode on the pod. Okay, but then I checked and he has a lot of videos about privatization. So yesterday he was advocating for privatized fire department. So when you have a privatized fire department, what you have is arsonists and not firefighters because they profit from fires, so then they'll set fires. More than that, they are cultivated through billions of dollars. So there's the Koch brothers network, there's the von Mises Institute, the Austrians, Austrian economics people. So they have billions of dollars of bad propaganda that they cultivate these idiots through. They also have ALEC, which is which basically literally writes the law. And we're actually going to be talking to somebody from Move to Amend a week from this Saturday in Late White Nights with Lenin about all the horrible things that ALEC does and why we just need to hit a restart button on the Constitution. And so it's not like if you didn't dump billions of dollars at these nerds, it would not be so lucrative to spew such dumb ideas. But usually it takes about 30 seconds to debunk anything they say. It's just that they're like they're like mosquitoes. In the West, they're just like all over. So you can't like do that. But it's a relatively easy task to just squash at a mosquito. But they're making noises all over. And the problem is that they're they make a lot of noise, and they excellent question. I heard there are some somebody in the comments yesterday said there are some privatized fire departments in the US, and so I'm looking this up. And you're holding Marcus Crassus basically would burn set the houses on fire, and then like to turn off the fire, he'd have them like pay a lot of money and go into debt, and then he'd foreclose upon them. Rural Metro, is that the city? So privatized fire departments are a bad idea, very bad idea. Anyways, he has a lot more other privatization videos. So I thought I would go through some of the more ridiculous ones that he has. Because the thing is that it is extremely ridiculous that he has private, but the funny thing is that these libertarians always get themselves into a conundrum with roads, fire, although they are hilarious. Have you ever seen libertarian the libertarian debates, this guy was like, I don't think you should be able to sell heroin to 5-year-olds. And everyone in the audience was like, boo. And yeah, so they are very, very ridiculous in the long run, in that they support heroin for 5-year-olds, and age of consent is their other big obsession. So now that's exactly what happened with Marcus Crassus in ancient Rome. Okay, I will check this out. Orange County Fire Authority in California or in Orange County, Florida? Is there an Orange County in Florida, or am I just making this up? Yeah. It was funny because I was at Graham Elwood's game show, and for a second, I thought I was like, they asked a question about states, and I may have had ingested some herbs, so that's the disclaimer. But I mentioned something like Idaho, but thankfully I was like, that's not a real state. But then they confirmed that Idaho was a real state. For a second, I was just like, oh my God, did I just make up a state? Orlando is in Orange County. So there is an Orange County, Florida. So I'm not totally making it up. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these videos in fast. Let me see. Let me see something. Oh, okay. So you can't do that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go through these videos in fast succession. And that way you can actually use this and on TikTok and just kind of upload it and tag him and be like, you suck. So let the fun begin. Oh, what am I? Okay, where did the video go? Hold on. Ah, I see now. Hold on. Give me a second. So
believe it or not, many leftists actually try to use data to back up their points.
Okay, so the rule of this game, if you can call it, is the same. I'm going to first play his video, and then I'm going to set a timer. We're going to have 30 seconds for, see, this is TikTok length, but this cuts me off on the side, which is annoying. Okay, so I'm going to then give my answer in 60 seconds, and now I will have a timer that I will upload. And yeah, that's going to be my rebuttal. And so I'll actually be working at a disadvantage because I will not be prepared. I will just do this on the fly with this, like, this is going to be my notes on this pencil. And oh, actually, okay, there's some crayons here. Is there a pen? No, there's a whiteboard and markers. Okay, that's good. Okay, I can do that. So I will do that. And without any further ado, we shall begin this video.
Some here on TikTok, such as this guy, do it quite a bit. But of course they have to incorporate a lot of dishonesty in order to find evidence that agrees with them.
Capitalists often say that public ownership results in inefficiency, but let's look into it. This overview of 87 studies looks at state-owned, mixed, and private sectors and finds that there is no model of ownership intrinsically more efficient under any definition of efficiency, but there are differences within certain contexts.
First thing to note here is it's a lot more complex than state-owned versus privately owned. there's many private businesses that are state-backed monopolies, and these will be almost as inefficient as state-owned monopolies. Sometimes they might even be worse. So we are not advocating for a simple privatization, we are advocating for a free market in which property rights are protected. ERCOT in Texas is a great example of a state-backed private monopoly, as well as railways in England. In fact, his study specifically says that things like regulations and enforcement of property rights affect efficiency. And in the privatization of state-owned enterprises, privatization is generally associated with more efficiency. So this study proves our point, not his.
When business is bad, cooperatives first draw from their profits before firing workers or cutting pay.
I guess you missed the part here where it says anecdotal.
And this study finds that worker co-ops are as much as 14% more efficient than conventional firms.
This study he cited has a sample size of 7. It also only looks at one industry. According to a much larger analysis of worker cooperatives, published in the National Bureau of Economic Education, with a sample size of over 200 and a control sample of over 1,800. Co-ops invest less in long-term assets, take fewer risks, grow more slowly, create fewer jobs, and exhibit lower labor and total factor productivity. In this cross-industry analysis from Portugal, they found no evidence that co-ops were more productive than capitalist firms. Now going back to the other paper, it was completely predictable that co-ops would invest in less long-term assets, grow slower, and create less jobs. One of the main reasons would be time preference. Entrepreneurs generally have lower time preference, which leads to more investing, and more risk, which leads to greater payoffs. This allows firms to actually expand and create new jobs, something that co-ops are terrible at. This is one of the reasons unemployment increased so drastically in Yugoslavia after they switched to a worker co-op model. Many of their citizens got jobs in other countries. You can't just kill entrepreneurship and expect things to be okay. Co-ops are also generally worse for wages, in some cases having 14% lower wages than capitalist firms. This study, looking at 5 worker cooperatives in the United States, found that the salary levels were well below that of capitalist firms. In one of the cases, wages were so low that some of the members had to leave the firm. And this larger view of over 95 worker cooperatives showed again wages were well below the rates of capitalist firms. So the evidence is consistent across sample sizes. So yes, looking at the overall data instead of cherry picking definitely shows that worker cooperatives are not the type of things we want, especially on a large scale.
Okay, now I apparently have trouble with the connect. Hold on, give me 1 second, and we will now connect the timer. And without further ado, let's begin. Oh, wait, what happened to the timer? Okay. Oopsie daisy. Sorry. Oh God. Okay. Let me try that again. Sorry. um, sorry. Okay, let's try this again now. Okay. Co-ops are capitalist firms. This just means you don't know what capitalism is, and that under the system of capitalism, if you have a co-op, it's a capitalist firm, and you can. Proof is that Mussolini loved co-ops, and so did Franco. In fact, Mondragon, the co-op that was started that Western anarchists loved to fetishize, was started by Franco. As for advocating for the free market, there's no such thing as free market. It is created by Westerners, and they don't mean free market. They mean the right to flood their goods into third world countries. As for property rights, there's no such thing as property rights in nature. What you need is a government that says, I will use my police power to exclude anyone from this rent. So property rights does not exist in nature. This is dumb. No, it's not. Mondragon used slaves. I'm sorry, not slaves, but exploited Eastern European laborers. They were started under Franco by Franco collaborators. They are terrible. They work just the same way as every other firm in the world. I've done a whole thread. Mondragon is Mondragon, no matter what Western leftists say. There's an entire book about how they exploit third world labor. And they did have slaves, exploited labor, whatever you want to call them, in Poland. I've done a whole thread on historically. So Mondragon is not cool. If you want to look at a co-op that doesn't exploit people, look at Huawei. Huawei was not started under fascism, and they don't use slaves, and they are completely worker run. And also look at the DPRK. They have lots and lots of co-ops. In fact, if Western anarchists weren't like so racist, they would love the DPRK, but Western anarchists. In fact, co-ops are enshrined. The right to have a worker co-op is enshrined in the DPRK constitution, but Western anarchists are way too racist to even consider the DPRK, to look at what the DPRK does. So yeah, I've done a whole thread. If somebody can just find it, you can link it. And historically, they aren't co-ops. Mondragon is not good. They definitely use slaves. Yeah, I like that book. That's a really good one. Another one is Stephen Gowen's. And then the third one, I can't think of it off the top of my head. And also, you should definitely read Kim Il-sun's With the Century. He's a very descriptive writer. He's a very good writer. And he's very, Huawei, worker co-op. So don't be... Okay, so let's look at his next. Please donate, subscribe, and do all the good things that you're supposed to do. Pay with Super Chat. We need the money. And share it with your friends. So he has like an entire... Okay, so now he makes fun of Eddie, even though about COVID masks. So let's see. And I'm also on Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok, and they're a lot less authoritarian there because I have not been suspended there yet. So you guys should join Douyin too. the main difference between, and the reason why China does this is because when you have 1 billion people, it kind of skews the data. So if you're, it really, that's why they kind of have to do a different data, or otherwise every single human being's gonna get exclusively Chinese language content. So it is a really, it's kind of annoying for you guys. So that's why they kind of have to separate it out. And yeah, so a lot of people are like, authoritarianism. And no, it's not suppressing. So far, nothing has been suppressed for I have not been suppressed yet. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Or, oh, wait, no, you're Dutch. So I don't know why I thought you were Spaniard. So it's bedankt or something like that. Yeah. Thank you so much. I love euros because they're worth more than the dollar. So with the conversion rate, pounds are also cool. I like British pounds too. Oh, cool. Okay. Yo fui a Cartagena, Colombia, y me encanta Colombia. La comida, la gente, los edificios, la historia. Me encanta Colombia. No, I have not. So yeah, I've been to Cartagena. I love Colombia. It's one of my favorite countries. I was there about a decade ago. I'd love to come back. If somebody like knows a university professor who could invite me to give a lecture, or something like that in Colombia. Hint, hint. Okay. So now let's start with his. Okay, let's do this Lenin picture.
Hi, I work as a COVID tester at a nursing home, and I wanted to show you the difference between the government tests we get and the tests we get from a private company. So right here.
Okay. So now the rules of the game are the same. I will watch the video. I will make notes on this whiteboard, and then we will have about 60 seconds on the fly for me to debunk his nonsense. And that's about it. And the idea is that we show, and then we use this so that you can upload this to the TikTok, to your TikToks, because I'm banned, and we don't have to, like, if you want to do a rebuttal or anything. And yeah, so that socialism will always beat capitalism. So and he bullies Eddie all the time.
I work as a COVID tester at a nursing home, and I wanted to show you the difference between the government tests we get and the tests we get from a private company. So right here, this is the government test, and these cost about $4 per test. All you do.
Eddie, I really don't get this video at all. It literally makes no sense, because you're comparing two tests and saying one is government and one is private, but both were made by private companies. Not only that, but it's so weird that you're comparing them, because the Abbott one is a molecular diagnostic test and the Sophia 2 one is an antigen test. They're two different types of tests, so you can't directly compare them. So when you're talking about one has more plastic and costs more, it's because it's two different types of tests. And when I was looking for articles on private testing versus government testing, pretty much all I could find was stuff that actually supported that private testing was better, and that problems came from the government holding back the private sector. So the video isn't only confusing, it's really wrong.
Okay, let us now begin this. Okay, so fine. Now let's look at the countries with government-only run private healthcare facilities: China, Vietnam, Cuba, all of the. In fact, Cuba had at one point had such a low COVID rate that more people in the White House had COVID than Cuba. Vietnam did a great job. So socialist countries, if you look at COVID deaths, public health and socialist countries have done better than privatized countries. And that's it, the end. I don't know what else to say. Let me see if I can find a chart. Okay. That was quick and easy. Let's see, do we have, it says that I'm, okay. I don't know if he was an M15 snitch, but he was definitely a snitch for the British government. I forgot which agency though. Okay, so let's now, this is all of this idiots, I mean, libertarians privatization videos. Like, he has like a lot of really stupid videos about privatization. And I don't know why he does this, but it's really annoying. And so I'm just going through the privatization videos because it's fun. And they say like libertarians say the really most stupidest things with regards to privatization, because well, mostly because they're libertarians and they say really stupid things, but they don't actually. The main thing is they look at the Western countries, they look at their experience, and they're always tend to be upper middle class. They've and the only thing they've ever had, they tend to be nerds too. So so yeah, that's the problem with libertarians, is that they kind of, I mean, my theory is that libertarians are not bullied enough in school. But that's just my theory. Because they have, so yeah, so now let's begin with this.
Libertarian position for conserving the environment or animals is private property rights. So for example, a few years ago, there was some fish biologists in the North.
Okay. Let's begin this again. I wish there was a way to upload the videos so that it comes on as, oh no, that's another headache. Okay. So let the fun begin about we should privatize the Amazon rainforest.
For conserving the environment or animals is private property rights. So for example, a few years ago, there was some fish biologists in the Northwest, and they found that in some streams there was bigger salmon than in others. And they were wondering why exactly it was like that in this situation. So they went through the history of those areas and the property and found that the areas with the smaller fish used to be more communally owned, while the other areas were more privately owned. And I'm talking back in the frontier days when most of it was owned by Indians. On the private land, the Indians or cowboys would release some of the bigger fish so that they would breed more and produce more bigger fish. In the public land, no one had a claim for all of the fish, so they would just take any big fish they could get because someone else might take the big fish if they don't. So the tragedy of the commons. In more recent years, these privatizations have shown to still work. And it even works in other places with other animals besides fish, like in Africa. Here's a couple of different good articles you can read on, and this one, and this one. Giving people final claim over their own land incentivizes conservation more.
Wow. I feel like every time libertarians speak, I feel like putting that Austin Powers clip. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. May God have mercy on your soul. Okay. So let's do begin. not this guy, but I am interviewing a libertarian who wrote a book about all the horrible things the US did in Afghanistan. But this guy is an idiot, so no. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What? This is insane. Okay. First of all, what if I wanted to build a parking lot in my private area and tear down the Amazon? I don't know. This is so stupid. And are smaller fish worse and bigger fish? I don't know about the study. What if the bigger fish came from, I don't know, steroids? Like, I don't know enough about fish to really determine if it's better to have smaller fish or bigger fish or medium-sized fish. As for tragedy of the commons, that's total nonsense. In fact, we at Historically wrote an article called Tragedy of Private Property, which tells you how the common area just was swept away for sheep. And most of this clip is just utter nonsense because I don't even know enough about fish to debunk this. So I guess yeah. So the privatization videos are, by the way, if you guys find let me just share this. If you find other things to debunk, let me see if I can share the URL. Go for it. And suggest it. But in the meanwhile, I'm just going to go through his privatization videos. The worst thing about American leftists who don't read theory, like the first guy who was like talking about co-ops, is that they don't know. Like you cannot half-ass leftism. You have to, if you have no. So like I said, if you have not read Lenin, you really should not be talking, because a lot of these people are like half-assing leftism, and so they talk about co-ops are socialist and say really stupid things, which gives these libertarians dumb outs like Mondragon uses slaves or whatever. And so I understand Richard Wolff loves co-ops and he's a co-op person and he really likes co-ops a lot, but that's kind of like that is a short shift or just being half-assed. And with leftism, you have to really know your stuff, because once you really know your stuff, everything becomes really easy to defend. I can even defend, I mean, when I'm defending North Korea, I am not saying it's a good place. I'm saying things like Kim Jong-un cannot raise the dead. They have not invented a necromancy machine that can reanimate people after they are dead. So what you realize is, the more you know, the easier it becomes. And yesterday night, for some odd reason, I got into this argument with this professor who was like, every side is the same. Soviets and Americans, both sides are same, and there's no difference between the good things and bad things. So then I asked him to provide evidence, which he could not. But I did provide evidence from the State Department where it says that the Afghan revolution deserves genuine support from anyone interested in bettering the lot of the Afghan people. So a lot of Western academics are probably one of the, if they're not in hardcore sciences, you should just not listen to Western academics, because they're just upholding institutional orthodoxy and hegemony. So, but yeah, exactly. He absolutely gave zero links, and he's like, I'm not your tutor. And I'm like, no, I'm teaching you how to cite your sources, because you just made up crap. I mean, I like him for the most part. He's a nice person, but I'm like, don't tag me in stupid stuff if you're going to say dumb things and act like a drill tweet. Like, he did not have to tag me, and I would have just not done it. But he chose to tag me, and he tagged me, and Pyongyang is the capital of the DPRK, correct? So now let us do the Lenin video. This is mostly for me.
This electricity is all fucked up because Republicans wanted electricity to be run like a business instead of a government service. Is all fucked up because
Okay, so we know the drill.
Republicans wanted electricity to be run like a business instead of a government service. As we all know, businesses have to make a profit in order to exist. The problem is that businesses generally do what's necessary to make money and don't actually give a shit about customers.
My guy, the ERCOT is a non-profit, and they're mostly under the jurisdiction of the Public Utility Commission. So what are you even on about? Not only that, but they have basically a monopoly. They do 90% of the power for Texas. So this is really just an argument against monopolies, which a government would have a monopoly. You should be arguing for a more unregulated market so people would have other options. Also, your points on businesses not wanting to take care of their customers, what does that even mean? If you don't take care of your customers are going to go somewhere else, unless you have a monopoly. So that's just a case for free competition. Also, victim blaming Texans for what happened is just really, really low.
I hate it when libertarians use woke words that they don't know what it means. Okay. Since this is, I'm at an advantage, since this is actually, I'm doing this on the fly. I don't know about the exact Texas Energy thing. I'll just grant that it's a nonprofit, whatever. Okay. But privatizing electricity does not work in actual most countries, because let's say it's a country like Afghanistan or even Tibet. Are you going to climb over mountains and spend millions when you don't get a return to give them electricity? No. And that's why only Lhasa was electrified before Mao took over. As for customers, I don't think you've heard of what a captive market is or a monopsony is. And you can always, that's how businesses basically end up doing it. You can't have a business without a captive market. That's it. Yeah. Well, at least, well, the thing about Ben Shapiro is he's not, well, the thing about Ben Shapiro is, well, he's a total, he doesn't pretend to have ideals. So he doesn't like have to worry about age of consent or something like that. But libertarians, on the other hand, they do. So, so then they end up like getting themselves into the worst kind of, just worst kind of conundrums about, so that's the thing, is that conservatives can be taken a little bit more seriously because they don't have things about the age of consent or anything like that. And libertarians, on the other hand, can't be taken seriously. So they're not allowed in certain grown-up meetings, but they're there because they're useful idiots. I mean, conservatives can't be taken seriously, but the unspoken word is that they'll do anything that is necessary to preserve status quo. That's like the main difference between conservatives and libertarians. Can you send me the link to the, okay, so you want to do the privatized schools and, okay. Yes, and in Bolivia, yeah, okay, so I will do that, right? Okay, privatized schools, I'll go find it. Hold on 1 second. Is it on the privatized schools? I love it when you guys give me suggestions, because then I'm, where is it? Privatized schools. I'll find it. Okay. Well, let me just share the screen so that you can help me find the privatized school. Let me see. Am I going, let's see, privatized schools. Yes, libertarians hate poor people. Where is it? Where is this? Have I scrolled past it? This one was ridiculous, which we did yesterday. Privatized schools. Where is it? Did I scroll past it? Okay, further down. Okay, I will find it. Oh, I didn't even show. Okay. Did I scroll past it? Let me see. Homeschool. There are none. Homeschooling should be banned. I see homeschooling. Did I go up, down? Ah, found it. Okay. Okay, so now, okay, so let's, yep, I found it. Okay, give me 1 second.
Education. I find it extremely ironic.
Strap in, I'm about to Godzilla your Tokyo.
I'm about to King Kong your Godzilla.
Someone clearly didn't learn from Texas and how their privatized energy is the reason why they went dark during a snowstorm.
Yeah, the failure of a quasi-government non-profit corporation that was given a monopoly by the US government is totally an example of how privatization doesn't work. Their massive subsidies to build inefficient windmills is totally a failure of the free market. I made a video on my own account debunking these arguments already.
You know, privatized healthcare is doing so well in the United States.
Our government spends more money on healthcare than any other government, yet we're privatized. The government limits the amount of doctors we can have, has certificate of need laws, and enforces drug monopolies. But yeah, that's a failure of the free market. Now, why didn't Monty actually bring up schools, which was the subject? He's ignoring the immense amount of success coming from private schools across the world. And yes, they have them for low-income people too. Also, the Milton Friedman school reform in Louisiana was greatly successful. Great going, Godzilla.
Privatized education. I find it extremely ironic.
Strap in, I'm about to Godzilla your Tokyo.
I'm about to King Kong your Godzilla.
Someone clearly didn't learn from Texas and how their privatized energy is the reason why they went dark during a snowstorm.
Yeah, the failure of a quasi-government non-profit corporation that was given a monopoly by the US government is totally an example of how privatization doesn't work. Their massive subsidies to build inefficient windmills is totally a failure of the free market. I made a video on my own account debunking these arguments already.
You know, privatized healthcare is doing so well in the United States.
Our government spends more money on healthcare than any other government, yet we're privatized. The government limits the amount of doctors we can have, has certificate of need laws, and enforces drug monopolies. But yeah, that's a failure of the free market. Now, why didn't Monty actually bring up schools, which was the subject? He's ignoring the immense amount of success coming from private schools across the world. And yes, they have them for low-income people too.
Okay, I just wanted to get the article. Long story, but yeah, but that's because it's Delhi and Bombay with 20 million people. If it's I don't know, Tumkur, Karnataka, or somewhere in Bihar, no, because you don't have the 40 million people that are going to get mad. Yeah. So I just want to look at that. Okay, can somebody? Let's see. I'll look for that article in a second. Okay, I will do my debunk with the timer. Let's see, with the timer right now. Okay. 3, 2, 1, start. No, actually, if you look at privatized schools from across the world, what you see is that there are about 20 kids that get an education, and then there are about 100 million people, or maybe a billion people, who can't even read. So yes, if you are trying to educate 20 people, I'm sure random private schools are okay. But if you're trying to educate billions of people who don't have money, you need a state to enforce this. In fact, if you don't have a state, you can't even get the kids to school because poverty is the number one reason. And also, it's kind of weird. In a lot of third world countries, they don't have roads to get people to school. So having schools nearby, which they'll never be in private schools. So yeah, random 20, sometimes, yeah, you can, I'm sure, do it with 20 people, but not the entire country of China or India. Oh, I went to Ann Arbor for university. Okay. I was making a comparison and I was shocked. Well, the problem is, depending on the weather, yes, when you lose power, you lose it for a long time. Yes, they have. I'm just saying that's why if you look at India versus China, you'll realize that state schools are necessary. Just compare the literacy rate. Hello from Turkey. Thank you so much. Okay. Can Indie Left News, if you're still around, can you please get his contact? I would love to do an episode on Turkish history. And I've been trying to get Taner Akçam to talk about the Ottoman Empire and the Armenian genocide. But India, at least with private schools, they kind of force a syllabus on people. So at least the kids can read and write, unlike in a lot of American private schools where they don't enforce the syllabus. So in India, there's something called, I believe, I forgot the name of what is it? It starts with an S and I can't remember the whatever. It's like a standardized syllabus. I just can't think of it. Maybe, who knows? But so it really helps a lot. CB, yes, that's it. CBSC. It stands for Central Bureau of something, something. No, it is better than what happens when you let religious nut jobs in America, like the Quiverful people, have their own schools and the kids can't do algebra. Everyone who graduates from high school in India knows how to do algebra. Yes, those are the ones. Yes. Anyways, yeah. So now let's do the one other video before I get a little tired.
Milton Friedman's idea that privatization is always best is only so popular because billionaires have pumped tons of money into it.
First of all, that wasn't Milton Friedman's beliefs. Second of all, it's popular because it's good. And it's proven to be good over and over again. But continue.
In reality, historically, this idea that privatization is always better for everyone is just laughably wrong. At one point, Bolivia, under pressure from the West, privatized their water supply, which led to people not getting water because the price of water shot up when people started profiting off water.
Eddie, if you actually did any reading past Wikipedia articles, you might actually be able to win debates. So let's take a little read, shall we? The Water Authority raised tariffs right before privatization, and that was the cause of price hikes. Not privatization. Again, this is not hard to look up. Not only that, but the privatization actually expanded access to water for low-income people and helped with water inequity. In other words, privatization helps the poor people and then the government ruined it. This seems to be the trend in all of your examples.
Okay. This is my forte because I did so much research for this. For about the Cochabamba water. So so this time I will share this, and we're gonna have to do the timer off screen. but you're totally wrong. Yes, please. Yes, contact the mod, and we'll figure out a way. He'll invite you to his. Thank you, Frank Ayala. Okay. Let's. This is like my forte. So, So I'm gonna do the offline timer because I'd rather share this article. Let's go. Okay. So let's look at what happened. In Bolivia, they had two presidential candidates, Ghani, who was a University of Chicago dude. He was a mining magnate. And then the US rigged the election. And he had a lot of Chicago boys that came, and he was already independently wealthy. So then he went to the World Bank. According to World Bank meeting minutes, Minister Manes presented the capitalization program as an innovative and dynamic process. So privatization is when a public enterprise is sold to a private entity in exchange for money. Capitalization is when a public enterprise is given to a private entity, and then the entity also keeps the money. So it's basically a gift. And I'm not joking, because here is the World Bank document actually not being a joke. Literally. Anyways, so the capitalization was done in 4 phases. And what happened was that the sole bidder for Aguas de Tunari was Bechtel, a US-based contractor. And for $2.5 billion, Bechtel was given a contract to provide a resident sanitation for Cochabamba. The contract also guaranteed the consortium a minimum of 16% return on investment. Oops, I forgot to put the timer on. Sorry. Okay. I'm so sorry. I forgot to put this timer on. So let's, I feel weird now. Okay, let's start over. Okay. Or I did. What? I'm confused now. I did put the timer on. I just, yeah, I did put the timer on, and I tried. Okay, this is weird. I'm trying to go live on Rockfin, and you have to hit some buttons and weird things, and oopsie daisy, I forgot to even go live on VK. Oopsie daisy, I forgot to even go live on. No. Now I'm on VK. Okay, perfect. Okay, so okay, excellent. I was on live on VK, but yeah, this is owned by Russia. So everyone should get a VK account for when. Let me. So it's like a better version of Facebook. I don't use Facebook anymore. But yeah, everyone should get a VK account in case like we get banned from Western stuff. So if possible, yes, indie left news. So now let me just share the VK to encourage more people to get on VK, because I'd rather just stream that there, because you don't have to worry about copyrights or getting dinged, and it's like a lot nicer. And there's no fascists. Okay. So yeah, let's. I just want to go through. He's just wrong on everything. Bechtel responded by he just read this article, and he is wrong. The tariffs had absolutely nothing to do with it. If the tariffs happened, but if the tariffs happened, that was because that guy was Ghani, who was a U.S. puppet who went to University of Chicago, and no, he's an idiot. Oh my God. Okay, so let's also read about Tom Cotton. These are other articles you should definitely read, like about Tom Cotton's slaves and stuff like that, because it's fun. And I need more people watching this stream. I know I did an impromptu stream, so share with your friends, families, enemies. So let's see. He does a second Cochabamba water video. Oh my God. Okay. This guy is a glutton for getting owned. Libertarian. Yeah. And yeah, you guys should chat more or something. I get lonely. Yes. And in third world countries, people just don't learn how to read and write if it's privatized, because it can't be done in the same scale, because you need to do things with the, yeah. So a lot of this is just like first world utter nonsense. So now, yeah, Afghanistan, I mean, any third world country, what you'll see is that all the NGOs that are there, they actually are a big money laundering scheme. When you have public utilities and public schools, they are not a big money laundering scheme. So that makes a huge difference. So yeah, definitely come on VK, and also try to join Weibo. Like, yeah, we need to get off of US owned social media companies, because they, okay, because people like you are around. And where are the mods to enforce authoritarianism? Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna have to, I mean, we're gonna definitely have to ban, I like, annoying me is a bannable offense on Twitch. That's just the way it's gonna be. Seriously, and yeah, annoying me is a bannable offense, and you can't annoy me. Okay, done. How do I ban this person? Where are the mods? Okay, banned. Yeah. Yeah, because this is how authoritarianism works. And see, it works really well. And we never have to listen to libertarians, because you can be like, shut up, nerd. And yeah, and they're like, free speech. And you're like, I don't believe in free speech. Shut up, nerd. And then they can't really fight with you if you say, I believe in authoritarianism, and after the revolution, we are suppressing all free speech from fascists. Fascists do not get free speech. They go straight to like, there's nothing they can argue about. They can cry about how bad communists are, but really, and you don't even have to tell them the truth about your beliefs, because you're not trying to sell them that, because they benefit from the horror that's going on right now. So you don't actually have, you're not trying to convince, you don't have to convince them. So you can just be like, yep, we're banning your free speech. And in fact, that's a plus point of authoritarianism, is that you get to ban annoying people. And that's actually going to help your case among normal people. So like, you don't have to have debates about the age of consent. Yeah, libertarians always get mad, and I'm like, they're like, authoritarianism. And I'm like, yep, great. Cracking down. After the revolution, we're just cracking down on all YouTubers, RedTubers, me included. We're totally cracking down on everything that's stupid. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we will. Well, I know it hurts my brain too, but I'm kind of annoyed at his at the fact that he got me mass reported for saying you can get benefit from Nicaragua's literacy program too. I tell them that authoritarianism is utter nonsense, because as you read my article, like Water for Capitalists, where I literally talk about why it is utter nonsense. Okay, so this is the thing. There's socialist governments cannot be authoritarian because let's look at how they historically start off. So Lenin was in exile in Munich with nothing, nobody. Kim Il-sung was just like fighting in a hut in the mountains for 30 years. Tito was also somewhere in Yugoslavia being a partisan. So in order to be, okay, so if we define authoritarianism as use of force contrary to the will of the people, well, what's going to, so in order to be authoritarian, you need three things: money, power. Well, you need an army, power, and money. And the army can be hired with money, so you need mercs. And that's how you shoot down entire peoples with, like, go against the majority, the Jakarta method, for example. But what did Lenin have? None of that. All he had was his notebooks, and that's it. So he had for since like 1905 to 1917, and for Kim Il-sung, it was literally for 30 whole years. All they had is their power of persuasion. So if you don't have money and you are persuading millions of people to risk everything, you become very good at persuading people. So you don't actually have to go and be authoritarian. Like Kim Il-sung was like, there were so many different factions. He helped merge them together by persuading people. Stalin was excellent at persuading people. And so like and because they've done it for 30 years, they become very good at persuading people. And that's where you get the cult of personality thing. And also, you don't get resistance when it is something when you have policies the people want, like water for everyone. The reason why you need to privatize water from the barrel of a gun is because when people don't have water, they get violent. So that's why they had to shoot down everyone in Cochabamba and have a water war. So if you look at it from a historically materialistic point of view, it's nonsense. But of course, the reason why you hear authoritarianism is because of the way the press works. So as you can see, Ahmed Shah Massoud's loser son has Ahmed Shah Massoud's loser son has an editorial. Why is his story being heard? It's because he has a publicity agency that he's hired, and he's pushing these articles, whose voice is not being heard. This poor villager in Afghanistan who was jailed because his daughter was gang raped, and he went to the court and said, hey, my daughter was gang raped by these psychos. You need to do something. And then they jailed him on some trumped-up charges. But you're not going to hear his voice because he's some poor guy. And that's the same exact thing. You don't hear about the victims when they are poor. So, for example, Baron von Mannerheim in Finland killed far more people in the White Terror than anything in the Red Terror. But since it was Kolchak too, he cut off people's hands and feet and let them freeze to death. And you don't hear about those in New York Times, but what you do hear about is, oh my God, Lenin was mean to Kolchak. So it's the way your news is filtered is the first thing. The second thing is, of course, who the victims are. Not all victims matter, as we can tell. And the third and final thing is, if you have nothing in exile, how do you be authoritarian? So it's mostly what you realize is people like the czarist version of Ben Shapiro's crying about reverse racism. Hold on. I need to take a 30-second break. Okay, so yeah, okay, so that's why the authoritarian, and if you actually look deep into the facts, you will realize how merciful the socialists are. Like the anti-Semitic snowflake Alexander Zolzin, when he says, "Oh, I sent a letter and Stalin sent me to jail," it was because he sent a letter to the UPA, which is these Ukrainian fascists, and the letter had location of the Red Army troops to be slaughtered, so it was treason. And the fact that he only got 8 years, he got off super light. So yeah, when you look at the context, usually free speech, no one gets suppressed for free speech. Usually it's because when I was a priest in Croatia, I used my free speech to write an order to exterminate everyone in the village when I was a Stasi member, those kind of things. So the free speech always be suspicious because it's not a very good way of manufacturing consent to suppress people's free speech. Even in the US, they make up excuses like with the guy Ramsey Ortiz, who took the video of Eric Garner, they made up some trumped up charges. So when you're suppressing free speech, you don't suppress actual free speech, you make up some trumped up charges. And if it's just free speech, you have to look at the context, and it's usually some sort of genocidal order. So yeah, that's my spiel on authoritarianism. Okay, so let's see if we'll do one more. Okay, we do have a lot of people doing this, so let's see. Let me share so that you can. Okay, you guys pick the videos. You can't pick the ones from yesterday, and if you don't pick, I will just do the privatized. Oh, this one. Okay. See, no. I actually got it. I understand what's going on. Okay, so it is the Cochabamba one.
As for your take on Bolivia, you're wrong as usual. Mr. Communist did a great video talking. As for your take on Bolivia, you're wrong as usual. Mr. Communist did a great video talking about how you were misinterpreting the study. Hey, Eddie, go ahead and explain how I was wrong instead of referencing someone else's video. Because you just did that because you didn't want to read, and you don't even know how I was wrong. Because in my video, I said that privatization expanded access to poor communities. I was correct. He agreed. I also said government tariffs contributed to higher prices. He agreed. He just added on that some companies raise prices themselves, which I never disagreed with. So what was I wrong on, Eddie? And then you recommend a movie. Because again, you don't read. Also, I think it's funny how you saying I won the debate is me doing something with my hand. When immediately after the debate, you moved to your own comment section and started saying that you wanted it. Meanwhile, I made a video saying that I appreciate you guys. And I thought you guys would think that also the same thing. You immediately started criticizing that. I was on my half. You were the one acting like it was a contest. But keep lying to yourself. As for your take on Bolivia, you're wrong as usual. Mr. Communist did a great video talking about how you were misinterpreting the study. Hey, Eddie, go ahead and explain how.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. How do I mute this? Okay, I'll tell you how you're wrong. This is not this is really stupid. Okay, I'm just trying to get the article, but okay, whatever. Okay, so let's start. You're struggling. Oh, okay, I will fix it. You're struggling to hear me or the libertarian? If it's hold on. If it's libertarian, I can fix it. That's really easy. If it's me, it takes a little bit harder. So let me know what you're struggling to hear. Yeah, so I can put this up again. So. I don't know. Why are you here? I like it when you're here. Do you want to come on stream? I can text you a guest list. I can text you to be a guest. Here, I'll text you. Okay, so okay, that I can fix. That just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so
As for your take on Bolivia,
can you
you're
hear now?
wrong. As usual, Mr. Communist did a great video talking about how you were misinterpreting the study.
Hey Eddie, go ahead and explain how I was wrong, instead of referencing someone else's video. Because you just did that because you didn't want to read, and you don't even know how I was wrong. Because in my video I said that privatization expanded access to poor communities. I was correct, he agreed with me. I also said government tariffs contributed to higher prices. He agreed with me. He just added on that some companies raise prices themselves, which I never disagreed with. So what was I wrong on, Eddie? And then you recommend a movie. Because again, you don't read. Also, I think it's funny how me saying I won the debate is me doing something with my ego, when immediately after the debate you went to your own comment section and started saying that you won and that libertarians are stupid. Meanwhile, I made a video saying that I appreciated you guys coming and talking to me and I thought you guys were good faith. Matt also did the same thing. He immediately started criticizing us. I was the one trying to have a good conversation. You were the one acting like it was a contest. But keep lying to yourself.
Okay, so oh god, okay. This is one of those stupidest things. Okay, let me put the timer back on. Well, I know I can't because I need to screen share. Okay, so I'll just put the timer in the background. I knew it. It was like the stupidest thing. Okay, so I will screen share first and then put the timer on. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So let us begin with the timer. Okay, you're wrong about the tariffs. So let's actually read what actually happened with the Cochabamba tariffs. It says that the contract between Bolivia and Aguas del Tunari, which was the Bechtel substitute, established that the latter had exclusive rights to operate in the designated area in order to exploit water reserves and offer services. The contract promised a company a rate of return of investment of 16%, guaranteed by tariff increases, which were dollar indexed, according to the official dollar exchange rate published by the Central Bank of Bolivia on the last day of the period that was to be charged. Tariffs were also indexed to the United States Consumer Price Index. In addition, these reference tariffs should be applied to the contract said the company could use water. So it's not the government tariffs, it's the fact that, hi, how are you? Thank you for coming. This is fun. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Hello? I can't hear you. I see you, but I can't hear you. Okay. The minute we can hear, let's see. He's not me. Nope, he's on. Okay. I don't. Sure. We'll figure this out. Tweet at Lumpy Lewish or yeah. So yeah, he's totally wrong. That was the easiest one. No, I want you on because you're fun. So we can talk a little bit about authoritarianism. Okay, next time we'll do it we'll plan ahead of time. That will be okay. We'll do that. Yeah, next time we'll plan ahead of time. Yeah, I see you, but I don't hear you, so you have to say something. Oh, hold on. Does anyone else? Hold on. I know what's wrong. Hold on. Why don't? Where did the headset go? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I know why I can't hear you. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So now, can you say something? No, I can't hear you. Okay. Weird. That's so weird. Okay. Now say something maybe. Nope. Okay, so we'll plan ahead, and next I will text you, and we'll figure out a way to get you here. It'll be fun. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So how much? Okay. So we can do 15 more minutes. No, I would love to have you. So I'll text you, and we'll schedule something, and we'll figure out something. Okay. Okay. So we have 15 more minutes. So should we? Yeah. He kind of walked into this little lion's den because the Cochabamba water thing is definitely mine. Let's see. So I didn't know. Are there any other dumb videos that you guys want? Okay. So did he block me? Aw, the snowflake blocked me because he can't handle being bullied. Aw. I don't know. Did he block me or no? No. I can see the videos now. Okay. Oh my God. He has, oh shoot. Chile. How many videos does he have on Chile? One. Okay. Pinochet's defenders. Oh God. Okay. Let us, yep, he's a Pinochet. Okay, we're gonna do the Pinochet defense video, which is really, who defends Pinochet? Seriously. Again, the answer always is, who does it work for? Whom does it not work for? And yeah, I mean, seriously, like, who defends Pinochet? But we're gonna have somebody defending Pinochet. Yuck. That's gross. Because he got me mass reported on TikTok because he's such a snowflake. And it bothers me, and this is my channel, and it's about things that bother me and the things that irritate me. Because you're a fascist.
To say I was not expecting to read a comment this dumb today, but yeah, let's go ahead and go over this. Here is the real wage growth under Allende. The orange lines mark the beginning and end of his term. You can see he didn't do such a great job. When his term ended, inflation was at 150%. Food prices rose, exports fell by 24%, imports rose by 26%. The overall standard of living did not increase. They faced food shortages, and their nationalized industries had drops in productivity, just like Mises predicted in 1920. Now we enter Pinochet's economy. He asked for Milton Friedman's advice on how to fix the mess Allende left. Friedman advised him to free up the markets and to free up the people politically. He gave an entire speech against Allende's authoritarianism. Pinochet tackled the inflation problem, GDP growth went through the roof, per capita real income started rising 5% per year, which was way above the rest of Latin America. Infant mortality rate went from 76.1 per 1,000 to 22.6 per 1,000. So yeah, Eddie was wrong.
Wow. Okay. Good thing wow. Okay. So we did an episode at historically.substack.com about the other 9/11. Okay, so this is going to be easy, but I need to do the offline timer again. His name is Salvador Allende, not Allende. Okay. As for political freedom, Article 8 of the Chile Constitution says any action by an individual or group intended to propagate doctrines against whatever family or based on class warfare is illegal. And then this also says, without prejudice or other by the Constitution, law, persons who incur or who should have incurred aforementioned violations shall not, for a period of 10 years from the court dates of the decision, be eligible for public duties or positions, regardless of whether or not they obtained popular vote. If the time of the court decisions, the person referred above should be holding public office or position, whether or not as a result of popular vote, they shall lose it. That was the Pinochet thing. There's also other provisions. Let's do this. Okay, so the Pinochet Constitution was like draconian. Okay, so a law passed by a qualified quorum, not the majority. So that just means that if you kill enough people, you become a qualified quorum. And then you could also lose your citizenship and become stateless if you spoke against the government. And oh my God, okay. Use of illegal pressure, as in strikes, was prohibited. Charter schools were protected, and workmen have the right to bargaining with the company for which they work, except where the law should expressly prohibit such negotiations. Oops, this time I actually forgot. I'm sorry. So this is the Pinochet's constitution. As for Allende, he was there for about 3 years, and a long story. Oopsie daisy. Okay, so let's start with this again. Okay, no, what are you talking about? Pinochet's wages actually went down, and they privatized everything under Pinochet, and people were forced to work, which apparently you libertarians don't like. Actually, yeah, like taking time off, like you couldn't be absent in the first few years after the coup. Like it was literally slavery. So anyways, who defends Pinochet? That's totally fashy. Like no one defends Pinochet. And then there's the helicopter. And that's why Pinochet needed to use so much authority, because he was doing something against the will of the people. Okay, so with that, I have to go. Does anyone have okay, so this sounds like you need to come and join Late Nights with Lenin so that you don't say silly things like this. Okay, so okay, so does anyone have any questions, comments? Yeah, I mean, that's what, like, that's why in the US they'll never teach you about the fascist economy, because it looks too familiar. It starts sounding like everything that Ronald Reagan wanted. And if you want to see the failure of privatization, just look at the Holocaust. Albert Speer called it the Third Reich another branch of IG Farben Industries. So yeah, this was fun. I might, yeah, if you guys like this, we might do some more, and I'll chop it up and make it TikTok friendly. Well, I hate the word autocrat, because again, that takes away from the class nature of the oppression. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what else to say, but who defends Pinochet? Yuck. And I guess with that, ignore, I guess, I don't know. People just need to learn how to be dialectical materialists, but they don't have time to learn. So this is the catch-22, and but this is good too, because like all libertarians, they're like clones of each other. They don't actually have original arguments because they've never studied anything. So debunking any libertarian is equivalent to debunking all of them because their arguments are 100% identical. No worries, I stream all the time, and I'll try to thanks for joining our Telegram. Let me see if I can put this in so that everyone joins our Telegram. Yeah, I'm glad you've been finding this interesting. Yeah, Smrti fascism. I'll stay until 11:30. So, I mean, I would say learn more theory so that you're not worried about labels. I mean, you'll kind of understand how everything works. If you're like worried about labels, it just means you have not read enough theory. Well, it really depends. I haven't been doing any for the last week. Sometimes I do it in the morning. Sometimes I do it in the late in the evening. It's usually whenever somebody annoys me, or whenever I feel like I need to have one. And I don't have a regular schedule, but I should have a regular schedule. And I need to figure out when people are around and when you guys want it. And yeah, this was just a good, yeah. So with most libertarian stuff, you can always debunk everything once you do a third world country, because all of it fails. Because as we know about imperialism, trickle up poverty is not trickle down economics, but trickle up poverty is what capitalism is. So well, and then there's the whole fascism thing. No, I'm not. I'm somebody who reads a lot, and I am genuinely interested in new things, and I want to learn. So that's why I tend to read a lot before I opine or something. Like I read like so many books before I went and deeply dived into Bolivia. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Once you understand, okay. So if you want a failure of privatization, the Holocaust is a great example. IG Farben profited a lot from like those concentration camps, where a lot of them were run for profit, like Auschwitz, Buna, whatever. Yeah. So yeah. Look into it. All the companies, there's far too many. But I mean, of course, Pinochet, anything a third world. Anytime a third world country looks third worldy, it's because of capitalism. So, and Westerners always try to get you to make the wrong comparison. Like they want you to compare Cuba to the United States when Cuba was not looting other countries for about 300 years. So, of course, it will be, a lot of things will be different, but compare Cuba to the fact that it worked so well that you think you can compare Cuba to the United States as opposed to Haiti or Peru shows you how successful Cuba is. Yeah. So within the U.S., like you can't really. It's like you can confuse people if you stay within the U.S. in regards to capitalism, because that's the entire point of imperialism, is to create a labor aristocracy that has it mildly decent. So the best way to debunk capitalism to just go out to outside the U.S. to the periphery of the empire, and there all the horror stories are so much starker. And that's why I focus a lot more on international news, because within the U.S. you can confuse people about things like, oh, socialism failed, and no, it didn't. It worked very well. So yeah, you just kind of have to learn how. That's why I always tell people just like go to. Yeah, once you start talking about third world countries, libertarians can't handle it. No one can, like, because it's the truth. With that, I say smrti fascismu, slobodu narodu.